Why you dey buy fake product, Make you dey careful, no go damage your life. You've got one life to live.
Buy original.
You should know where to go. The SON. Don't touch, don't touch.
It's fake.
Don't touch, don't touch.
It's bad.
Don't touch, don't touch.
It hurts.
Don't touch, don't touch.
It destroys.
Don't touch, don't touch.
It kills.
You should know where to go. The SON.
Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving lives through standards.
It's been a gradual process, a conscious and strategic step by both the federal and state government to ease the lockdown and open up the space for socio-economic activities to resume across the country. The move is all in a bid to contain the spread of the deadly COVID-19, which has continued to have monumental negative impact on not just the world's economy, but Nigeria's economic prosperity. It might interest you to know that the federal government has continued to demonstrate immense capacity to tackle the menace of coronavirus in the country, committing billions of naira to developing basic quality infrastructure to stem the tide of COVID-19. One agency of government is building capacity in the area of laboratory services to boost Nigeria's quality infrastructure. We will tell you what that responsive government agency is doing in that regard. Standards Organization of Nigeria commended for supporting manufacturers and institutions to develop homegrown solutions. You're watching Standard and You, Africa's most watched authoritative program on television, where you learn more about product quality and safety. 6:30 p.m. is our transmission time on this station every Monday. As always, please accept the warm regards of the amiable Director General of the SON, Osita Bolma Esquire, dedicated management and hardworking staff of the agency. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the program. Ifoma Okonkwo is my name. I'll be back shortly.
The Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, brings a new lease of life to Nigeria SMEs. SON has put a greater premium on developing standards to improve made in Nigeria products for export. We have developed more standards for products like sesame, cocoa, gari, and more, courtesy of our accredited state-of-the-art laboratories. In keeping with the federal government's ease of doing business, SON has simplified its processes and turned around time for SUNCAP, MANCAP, and other certification processes. SON has intensified market surveillance, raids, and seizures to reduce substandard products in circulation, and offenders shall be prosecuted. Join SON in ridding our nation of substandard products. If you see something, say something. Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving lives through standards.
This is Standard and You, and thanks for joining us on the program. Please don't forget it's an initiative of the SON to empower consumers and producers of goods with relevant information. As part of its mandate, the Standards Organization of Nigeria provides laboratory services in the country. How well has the agency fared in the business of product analysis and testing over the years? Alimoto Sifo tells us more about SON's quality infrastructure.
Every day, thousands of products are either manufactured or imported into the country. It is expected that these products are produced in line with acceptable standards and serve the purpose for which they are manufactured to meet the aspiration of the consumer to the extent that he or she gets value for money spent in purchasing such products. While the bulk of locally produced goods conform with the various Nigerian industrial standard, a large number of those imported into the country do not meet the requirement of the standard, as attested to by the SON's Director of Laboratory Services, Mrs. Mojisola Kende.
The Standards Organization of Nigeria, by its mandate, is the apex body for standardization and quality assurance, and it's quality policy to be the reference point in any matter of standardization and quality assurance. Every function we carry out confirms this. One of the functions that Standard Organization of Nigeria, carries out is laboratory testing. We test products, materials, and we get our clients mostly from internal customers, because testing, we are checking for compliance with specified standards, and these standards are, for the locally produced material, they are mandatory. For the locally produced products, we have what we call MANCAP, Mandatory Conformity Assessment Program. So all products made in Nigeria are assessed to see compliance with the relevant Nigeria industrial standard.
The importance of a standard laboratory in every factory cannot be overemphasized. This is to ascertain the quality of every goods, whether manufactured locally or imported into Nigeria. Although the establishment of a laboratory by makers of products is a mandatory requirement, it is also necessary for regulatory agencies like the Standards Organization of Nigeria to develop a robust quality laboratory to check non-conformities on the part of some of these industrialists and importers. Over time, successive management of the SON have committed huge resources towards the development of a viable facility aimed at ensuring the quality of goods sold in the Nigerian markets. Director, SON's Laboratory Services, disclosed that the agency has an ultra-modern facility that accommodates about 40 laboratories in Ogba, a textile laboratory in Kaduna, engineering laboratory in Enugu State, and other such facilities in the agency's operational headquarters in Lagos and Abuja.
The leadership of this organization, our DG, Osita Aboloma Esquire, is totally committed to see the laboratory up and running and made provision for all that we need at all times. And our needs are being attended to. Capacity building is key, which we graciously, attend to when the occasion arises. Also, our equipment maintenance, calibration of equipment, all these are taken care of, because when you talk of analysis, you talk of the man, you talk of the equipment, you talk of the method. All this we don't lack, and we are working hard to make sure we deliver as directed.
Not many Nigerians are aware that the SON Laboratory Complex in Ogba, Lagos, houses 40 laboratories with state-of-the-art equipment, second to none in sub-Saharan Africa, that provide world-class quality analysis services. These automated machines are not only in perfect working condition, but have made the business of product testing and analysis a lot easier and less time-consuming.
We have the different labs handling different things, different analysis in food. Unlike where we were in Lekki, now we have more equipment, automated equipment. We have more staff, and then we do a lot of training, because looking at things for the few years back, technology has really evolved. So you need to move along in the trend of technology. Fast equipment is not what you will now analyze for days or for hours. Products are coming in, people want results. We have the ports, we have the borders, things are coming in, we have food safety issues. So for now, I would say SON, the food lab, is actually repositioned to be able to meet the trend of things going on in the country.
For more than 4 decades, the Standards Organization of Nigeria has continued to provide manufacturers of goods and stakeholders in the nation's agricultural sector with technical support to grow their businesses. SON has expanded virtually all its laboratories, such as the mycotoxin, pesticide residue, and benzene laboratories, that has helped in no small way to boost agricultural exports and creating investment opportunities in that sector.
So we have internal customers and we have working customers. For our internal customer, we receive sample on a monthly basis. That's from the internal, from our state offices, that goes to the factory to pick samples for analysis, for inspection. So we get samples, especially for flour products, we get that on a monthly basis. And we also have working customers. Working customer being sampled. Some minutes ago, the officer in charge of sampling management informed me that there's somebody called that they'll be bringing in rice, gari, for us to check the mycotoxin level in the products.
SON has also expanded its capacity in the electrical laboratory, chemical technology, as well as the cement laboratory, among others, with tremendous impact on stakeholders in these areas.
Apart from the on-the-spot analysis they will have carried out in the company, that's why we call most of the tests we carry out, we call it corroborative analysis, just to check what they've done over there. Then we have another equipment we use for compressive strength of concrete prism or concrete block. That one is majorly for people that prepared electric poles. We need to check their 28 days mortar kill. So they bring that one here too, we check. So what we do is that we direct some of our staffs from the state offices, when they sample the cement, they bring it down for us to test. At the same time, we extend our activities to the institutions, whereby students in the civil engineering department, we let them know that we have out of the state equipment here, whereby if they want to do their projects, they bring their project here some for their research activities. So that's how far we have gone in our operation.
We can test all varieties of lamps, auto lamps, all light fittings in the homes, in offices, all CFLs, all LED lamps. We are all fitted and we are equipped to be able to test all of them. And in this, we can see this equipment is for testing these lamps that are all fitted there. With this equipment, we can do aging tests, we can do live tests, and then there are some other equipment that are available here where all parameters of our lamps can be tested. We can test efficacy, we can test power consumption, we can test all ranges of electrical, mechanical properties of a lamp. In this laboratory, even if it requires that we test a lamp for maybe 100 hours, we don't need to be available. We have a power supply that can take care of that for hours. For maybe over 100 hours, the power supply, the inverters can be on, and then the test equipment will be able to go on. We have equipment for testing cables, all parameters of cables we will test. And then we have equipment for testing batteries. We have equipment for testing home equipment, household equipment especially. We call that one domestic laboratory. In there, all items that are used in the home, in the house, we can test them. A good number of parameters that can come out, that can bring out a product to tell you that this product is good and fit for use, and that it will meet customer requirement, customer expectation. We have all the test equipment to carry out the test.
We have equipment that we use to test kinematic viscosity at 40, at 100. We have two of this type in case sample comes in so much. We have the falling ball, which is there, falling ball viscometer. We have this one is automated. We can test 50 sample of lube in 2 days. So, and we have a lot of equipment like even code cracking for engine oil classification. So we have a lot of it. And we have also the PowerPoint equipment. They have already equipped us, and they've given us training also, because most of these equipment are automated. And it's not like in those days when we do falling ball. I was the one doing falling ball in those days. We have one kinematic viscosity equipment where we do falling ball. We take the time that the ball will fall from one mark to the upper mark to the lower mark. We calculate dynamic kinematic viscosity. From there, we calculate the density. From there, we begin to calculate kinematic viscosity, where we are going. But now, when we put the engine oil, lube oil into the machine, it gives us kinematic viscosity. straight. It's even giving us density. It gives us specific gravity. It gives us also the viscosity index, you know. So those are we are well equipped.
No doubt, the SON runs an automated laboratory service which the agency's chief executive told Standard & U is part of a deliberate resolve to reposition the Standards Organization of Nigeria to make it a global brand with requisite cutting-edge infrastructure and competent staff providing services in line with international best practice.
Most of our laboratories have been internationally accredited. The older ones, the scopes are being increased by the day. We are also training our staff in the lab for proper testing, because with internationally accredited labs, if we want to produce or manufacture, be it agriculture, solid mineral, and other areas of the economy, that has nothing to do with petroleum. You cannot take your products to our accredited labs for testing. Once you have certification from our labs, your product will now be accepted all over the world. It will now reduce the issue of the past where they reject some of our products because of non-conformity to international best practice. We have increased capacity for testing and human capacity development to be at par with international best practice.
Aboloma disclosed that the SON is still acquiring more equipment and deepening its testing and analytical capacity to make the agency a center of excellence in the field of quality assurance and standardization in Africa and beyond. Construction work is ongoing to erect more structures to accommodate more laboratories in the country.
Director, Federal Polytechnic, Ilaro, Ogun State, architect Olusegun Aluko, has commended the Standards Organization of Nigeria for its commitment towards the growth of local manufacturers to providing the nation with homegrown solutions to tackle the dreaded coronavirus. He gave this commendation during an inspection of the institution's mechanical hand sanitizer, disinfectant booths, and mechanical ventilator by officials of the Standards Organization of Nigeria in Ogun State. Alimoto Sifo has details of that exercise.
According to the rector, the visit by the SON team is a great encouragement to the institution's management in its effort to support the federal government in containing the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. He expressed the institution's preparedness to subject its various innovations to SON scrutiny with a view to getting them all certified under the mandatory conformity assessment program for made-in-Nigeria products. Architect Aluko called for greater support from the federal government and the organized private sector for mass production of the homegrown innovations and solutions to reduce the nation's dependency on imported products, pressure on hard-earned foreign exchange, and promote relatively cheaper local alternatives. According to him, the innovations by the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, other tertiary institutions, and local manufacturers are coming at the right time as the world is facing a pandemic with attendant need for ventilators, sanitizers, and disinfectant booths, among other essential materials. The local manufacture of these products and materials, if well supported, will be more accessible and cheaper compared to imported ones, which are scarce, costly, and will take longer to deliver, he said.
We came about this equipment that will take care of certain category, especially our children in secondary schools and primary school. They should have something to prevent them from getting infected. So if all the pupils will wash their hand or sanitize their hand, you know we are almost there. We have disinfectant door because of the large number of population they are going to deal with, and because of the time. Some of them will not have the time to say they want to wash hands. So we have a disinfectant door. They just walk through it, spend 20 seconds inside it, and it's disinfecting the whole body. So that's exactly what we have done.
Speaking on behalf of the Director General, Osita Aboloma Esquire, during the inspection exercise, SON Ogun State Office 1 Coordinator, Engineer Jerome Umoru, reaffirmed the organization's commitment to provide unrelenting technical support to all manufacturers of essential materials and equipment, including tertiary institutions, in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic and beyond.
So today convinced me that it's just a matter of environment. Give the Polytechnic and University chance to do well, and I'm happy with what I have seen today. And I found out that most of the things that I have seen meet the requirements of the standards, especially the safety measures.
Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. Time now to join Halimot Osifo on our feedback segment.
Hello and nice to have you on the feedback segment of the program. I am Halimot Osifo. All over the world, manufacturers try to increase the sale of their products in each and every possible way. This is to achieve the main objective of profit maximization. More often than not, some producers of goods do not take into cognizance the interest of consumers by exploiting them. Very often, a consumer does not get the right goods and services because he is often left with the option of making the right choice in the markets of good, fake, and substandard products. So, how do you avoid being cheated? The answer is knowing your moral and legal entitlements. In other words, consumer rights. Right to safety. Yes. While it is essential for manufacturers to obey the rules related to the safety of consumers, the consumer can demand a ban on the sale of goods injurious to health, like harmful food products, inferior medicines, and electrical appliances without safety devices. Right to choose. If a product is produced by more than one manufacturer, then the consumer has a right to inspect the products of various manufacturers so that they may purchase a quality product at an appropriate price after making a comparative study. Right to information. You can demand for any information about the quality, price, content of any product and have access to manufacturing date, expiry date, address of manufacturer, directions, and more. Right to redress. You have the right to notify the manufacturer or seller of any defect found in the goods purchased by you. When they do not address your complaints, you can approach the concerned authorities and seek redress. Right to consumer education. It's a lifelong responsibility which educates you with information on products and services to enable you make informed decisions during purchase. It's important for you to know your rights because an enlightened consumer is an empowered consumer. Standards Organization of Nigeria is one government agency committed towards that. Report to us whenever you're denied your consumer rights or value for your money. And that concludes this week's episode of the program Standard and You. For any question, complaints, or suggestion, you can send in your messages with your full name and location to the number 0705972445. Follow us on Facebook at Standard and You, Instagram and Twitter at Standard and You _. You can catch up with missed episodes online at youtube.com/Standard and You. Don't just view, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. As always, buy original, sell authentic, and use only the best. Bye for now.
Why you dey buy fake product, make you dey careful, no go damage your life. You've got one life to live.
Buy original.
You should know where to go. Na so